Good afternoon, everybody. Again, this is Karen Lee. I think we'll go ahead and get started. For those of you that are new or haven't been on these calls before, I'm the Executive Director of the Maine Health Data Organization, and I want to thank all of you for taking time out of your busy schedules to participate in our training session this afternoon. I just ask for those of you that can mute your phones. If you can do that while we run through the training, that would be great, so that other people don't have to listen to many of us multitasking. And there'll be plenty of time for questions and answers. And I think the way we want to structure this is if you could hold your questions until the end, that would be fantastic. So with that said, I just wanted to underscore a couple of key points, and then I'm going to turn it over to Kevin Rogers from Human Service Research Institute, who will actually walk you through the training portion of this session. So just to reiterate, the current file layout is not changing in our new system. And if you're looking at the PowerPoint on slide 2, you'll see that the submission deadlines, what we're looking for is for the monthly submitters to submit their July and August 2013 files by the end of September 2013. And then starting in October, we'll resume the normal submission schedule. And for the quarterly submitters, all third quarter files are due by the end of October. And again, we'll be on a normal submission schedule. So we want to, again, it's hard to believe that it is September 12th and we are having this call. So again, want to thank all of you that have been participating in this process from the very beginning, who've assisted us with feedback and were part of the testing process. Again, as we've communicated over and over again, your commitment to this process and your feedback has been extremely valuable, and I hope that what you've experienced to date and what you'll experience as we go forward is a more user-friendly system. So this isn't the end of it. This is really sort of now the beginning of the next phase, and we continue to want to have open dialogue, and we'll talk when we wrap this up about future calls, because we would like to keep this going and keep the channels of communication open. So with that, I am going to turn it over to Kevin, and we'll get into it. And then again, as I said, we'll make sure we have plenty of time to answer any questions that you might have.
Okay, thanks, Carolee. Can everyone hear me okay, or rather, am I breaking up? Am I coming through okay as far as sound level?
Yep.
Okay.
Okay, great. I would just like to take a moment to thank the beta test community who has worked with us through the development of this tool. It's been tremendously valuable to get that user feedback on this, and I think it's really helped make a much better product. So thank you for all the people who put time and effort into helping us out in the development of this tool. As we mentioned during the registration training session, for the last 6 months, HSRI and NORC have been working closely with the Maine Health Data Organization to create this new data submission system. The goal was to create a streamlined user experience that minimizes barriers for data submitters, provides detailed and timely information on the status of submissions, and fully discloses the criteria used to accept or reject submissions. The Maine Health Data Organization's Data Warehouse portal is the web-based front end for this new data submissions process. It allows for data submitters to submit files, view feedback on current and previous submissions, resolve issues that have been raised, and request exemptions. During the last, we walked through the process of setting up company accounts, adding users, and updating your company details. Today, we want to look at the data submission and validation portion of the portal in more detail. We'll also review the support options that MHDO will be making available to you. During this training, we'll cover the data submission process, that is how you will be submitting files to MHDO through the portal or the SFTP process. We'll also cover validation issues and how to resolve them. This process is identical regardless of whether you upload via the portal or use the SFTP submission method. We'll also provide information on how to get help and resolve problems accessing or using the portal. Finally, we'll review the minimum browser requirements and other technical information about what you need to have in order to make full use of the system. If you haven't been set up as a user in the MHDO portal yet, please refer to the user guide, part 1, and the registration user training video available on the portal. We'll show how to access this later on in the session. Remember that in order to submit data through the portal, you must be designated as an administrative contact or data submitter. Details about these roles are covered in the user guide, part 1, and in the training video. So we'll quickly review now how to log into the portal. The portal can be accessed from the MHDO homepage, this link here. The direct link is mhdo.maine.gov/portal. So I'll now log in with my credentials. Once we get in, all of your account information can be found here in the top right-hand corner of the screen. If you're registered as a user with multiple companies, this is where you can toggle between them. If you only have one company, you'll just see the one company. As you navigate through the portal, you'll always be able to see the name of the company you're currently logged in at. So now we're going to look at how you use the portal to submit files. Now, in order to prepare files for submission, they must be compressed and encrypted, as well as named according to the standard naming conventions. To ensure the security of personally identifiable information and personal health information that's submitted to the MHDO data warehouse, and to reduce file transmission times, MHDO will be requiring submitters to compress and encrypt all files before uploading to the warehouse. This file-level encryption will ensure the confidentiality of all data, not just certain sensitive fields. This compression and encryption can be accomplished by a number of industry standard tools such as WinZip or 7-Zip, which may already be deployed within your infrastructure. Submitters will no longer be expected to run a custom vendor-provided application to perform this encryption. So each file that is uploaded to the MHDO Data Warehouse portal should be added to a separate zip archive. In other words, don't add more than one file to the zip archive or we'll be unable to process it. The archive must be encrypted using 256-bit AES encryption using the submitter's unique encryption password. This password can be obtained through the MHDO Data Warehouse portal. Administrative contacts and data submitters can obtain this encryption password by logging in and going to the account menu. And here you see encryption password, and there it is in all its glory, 46 characters of easily memorizable stuff. Here you can copy the password to paste into your compression and encryption tool. Please be sure that no additional characters or spaces are added by mistake. If the password used to encrypt your file does not match what is in the portal exactly, your file cannot be processed. If this happens, the system will show a validation issue and you'll need to resubmit. Please note that new encryption passwords are generated today for most companies. If you are part of the beta testing, this means that your encryption password has most likely changed. If there are any concerns or issues with this, please contact the help desk. Now, all files transferred will be automatically associated with the proper account based on your credentials and the information in the header of the transferred files. However, it's important that the files be named according to the standard naming convention to ensure that the file type and the submission periods can be properly discerned. All files submitted to MHDO need to follow this naming convention. So it has a payer ID followed by an underscore, year and month of the period ending date, the type of file, a sequence number, and a version number. Your uncompressed data files should end with TXT, and your zip files should end with the default file extension for the package you're using. Usually that'll be 7Z or ZIP. The sequence number is used to differentiate files that have otherwise identical file names. An example would be if you have two medical files that are being submitted during the same submission period. They'd have the same file name unless you use the sequence number to differentiate them. So 2 digits should be used starting with 01. The sequence numbering starts over with each new submission period. And if you aren't submitting multiple files that would otherwise have the same name in a submission period, you'll always use 01 as your sequence number. So it's only for very special cases. The version number is used to differentiate multiple submissions of the same file. This will be important if the file needs to be resubmitted to resolve a validation failure or something of that nature. Original submissions of all files should be labeled with version 1, V01. This will let us determine when one file should replace the data found in another file. So here are some examples of how these conventions would be applied. The first file is an eligibility file that was submitted by payer C0756 for the period ending December 2012. It is version 1, and the one right below it is version 2, so that's a resubmission of the same data. The next set of files are for payer ID C0756A. These are medical claims data that make use of the sequence number to differentiate themselves. Note that otherwise, these two file names are identical. In this situation, each file is expected to have different claims. Both will be loaded to the data warehouse as part of the submission. One is not replacing the other. They're both different sets of data that are going in. Finally, the last two examples show how this scheme is applied to a dental and to a pharmacy file, and just the file type. Files that do not follow the standard naming convention cannot be processed and will require resubmission. Files that are uploaded to the portal or sent via SFTP that don't follow this naming convention will raise a structural validation issue, and no further processing will be done. Once the files to be submitted have been compressed and encrypted, they need to be transferred to the data warehouse for validation and load. Now, there are two ways that files can be transferred: the SFTP process via the MHDO data warehouse portal. The SFTP process is designed primarily for users who want to set up an automated transfer of files. However, it's available for any payer who wishes to make use of it. The MHDO data warehouse portal has established an SFTP server to receive them. Payers may make use of any third-party SFTP tool, such as WinSCP or FileZilla, to send the files. You probably, if you're going to do this type of automated feed, your data center probably already has such a tool, and you can make use of it. In order to use the SFTP process, payers will have to request an SFTP ID. This request can be initiated via the account section of the MHDO portal by administrative and data submitter users. So you see right here. And once the request, so we pre-fill out the information, and it is sent to NRRC when you click request. And once the request is received, an email with links to securely download your account credentials will be sent back to the requester, and the user will be able to establish a connection to the SFTP server. And NORC will work with you to ensure that a connection is established. All administrative contacts and data submitters will also be able to submit files via the MHDO portal by going to the submission menu and selecting Submit File. If you submit from multiple companies, please make sure the correct company is listed on the right-hand side of the toolbar before you submit. Okay, so now we'll submit a file by going to the Submit File on Submission menu, and we click on Browse and select the file to upload. Yeah, there we go. The system will look at the selected file to ensure it has a file extension such as ZIP or 7Z to indicate that it has been encrypted and compressed. It'll also check to see if it's named properly. If it's not, you'll receive an error message and the file will not be uploaded. If you have to you'll have to resolve any naming problems before you can upload via the portal. If the file is named according to conventions, the payer ID, period ending, file type, sequence number, and version numbers will be populated, as you see here. So once you've reviewed and verified the populated information, we click on Submit to begin the upload. And you can now see the file that's in the current uploads list below. You can cancel it if you need to, or begin selecting the next file. You can queue up multiple files for upload. The file is then uploaded to the warehouse and validated. This process is designed to be used interactively. The file transfer that you just saw will only continue while the web browser is kept open. The transfer process will be suspended if the transfer window or browser is closed. So it may be more appropriate for smaller files than large files, but it certainly can handle large files. All files submitted via the SFTP process and the portal can be viewed by going to the Submission menu and selecting Submission History. your most recently submitted files will appear first. At the bottom of the screen, we have print and download features for your convenience. The status columns of this table will indicate where your files are in the processing queue. Once a file has been uploaded to the data warehouse, you'll usually see one of four main statuses in this column. Queued means the file is waiting to be processed and validated. So the one we just submitted, you'll see that it's queued. Processing means the file has been picked up and is being processed and valid by the various programs within the enclave. Failed means that the file has been processed and one or more validation issues have caused it to not pass. And finally, passed, the file has passed all the validation rules and has been loaded to the data warehouse. So within 24 hours of submitting your files, they'll be validated, although the process usually takes less time. You'll receive an email and a notification will be displayed upon login when this is completed. So now we'll move on into the next portion of the training, which is specifically about the data validation and issue resolution. So one of the biggest changes in the MHDO data submission process has to do with data validation. The set of data validations, formerly known as edits in the portal, are new. So your first data submission, you may find that the list of issues generated may appear long, but the system was designed to be user-friendly and allow data submitters to resolve many issues without having to go through a lengthy process. You can resolve them right in the portal. When any of the validations fail, an issue will be generated. Issues must be resolved before a file can be accepted. And there are four types of validation issues: structural, exemption, ad hoc, and profile. Definitions of each of these can be found in the User Guide Part 1 and in the User Registration Training video. So after your files have been validated, you can view the issues in the Validation Issues section of the portal over here. All right. Here you see a list of all the outstanding issues for your submissions, and our test files are really, really horrid with lots of issues. You can sort the information by any of the columns here, as well as print or download this information. And if you click on Details in the Action column, you can get more information about the issue. All right. Here you can see that the number of passing records did not meet the required threshold. Didn't even come close. And we can see the first 10 failing records. So in this case, none passed, so 264 failed, and we're showing you the values of the first 10. So that allows you to sort of get an idea for what was in that field and why you failed, and to help you resolve the issue. So now we click back, and now I'd like to demonstrate how we resolve the issue. So first, let's take a look at a structural validation issue. So structural validation issues, if you recall, these are issues where we weren't able to process the file, we weren't able to open it, or it didn't have the right number of columns. We weren't able to interpret the information that you sent to us. Okay, so here's a file. It's file number 152. Remember that number. We couldn't unzip it. So in this case, we used the wrong encryption password intentionally. In order to resolve this problem, we'll have to resubmit the file with the proper password. So we're going to hit Resolve, and then we click on Resubmit. The system now prompts us to make sure we actually want to do this. And once we assure it that we do, this is the same process as before. We resubmit the file by clicking on Browse, select File, and then we hit Submit. All right, and it processes. Now, if we go to the Submission History screen, note that our original file, 152, is no longer here. It has been resubmitted, and the new file we just submitted has a different number, and you can see it queued up at the top, 170. Okay, so regardless of whether the original file came in via the portal or SFTP, you can resubmit it via the portal. If you choose to resubmit via SFTP, you should make sure to increment the version number on the file so that we know it is intended to replace the existing one. Okay, so now let's look at how we resolve an exemption level issue. The submitter may apply for an exemption, either for that one time or for a limited period via the portal. MHDO will then review the exemption request and, if approved, clear the outstanding issue. So here we go. Okay, so we clicked on Resolve. Here we need to provide the period of time for which you'd like the exemption request for. If approved, any file submitted during that time under this profile will be exempt from the validation rule. Then next, we provide explanation of the cause. Here you should explain why you can't meet the validation rule threshold. The next field asks you to explain how you will remedy this issue by the end of the exemption period. And then finally, after we fill in all this information, we'll click on Submit. So this request will be submitted to MHDO for review and approval or rejection. The user will receive a system notification once MHDO has approved or rejected the request. If approved, the exemption will apply to all files submitted during the approved period for this submitter profile. And this change will also appear in the validations profile. Okay, so let's look now at ad hoc level issues. Where's an ad hoc level? There we go. Ad hoc level issue types are issues that submitters may override during the data submission process, but that MHDO does not allow to be set permanently in the submitter's validation profile. So here you need to provide a reason for overriding the validation rule. After submitting the reason, the issue no longer appears on the validation list, I think. Yep. All right, so it's very similar for a profile level issue. Now, profile level issues are ones that MHDO allows submitters to override on an ongoing basis. So once a submitter determines that they're not going to be able to meet this standard, they need to provide the reason they aren't able to meet it. But once they do, the validation will not be applied to the current file or future files submitted. So we put in the reason and submit or cancel. Yeah. After submitting the reason, you can see, after submitting this reason, you can see that the issue no longer appears on the list of validation issues. So all validation profiles will be reset annually. Companies will need to update them by the first submission period, monthly or quarterly of the year. MHDO and HSRI will provide historical information about data submission and profile validation profiles for reference. The important concept here is that the threshold associated with a given validation rule will not change. Whereas in the past, threshold levels were adjusted up and down as part of the exemption process, this will no longer be done. When an override is applied, it bypasses the rule rather than changing the threshold. End users of the data will be able to see the specific validation rules that were applied to the data they are working with as part of the metadata. So if there were exemptions, ad hoc or profile overrides for some or all of the records, they'll know this and be able to make informed choices in how to process the data. So we're committed to making this transition to the new MHDO data warehouse portal as seamless as possible. In order to achieve that, we're providing multiple ways to access contact and system help information. Resource and help information in the form of user manuals, training videos, and FAQs will be updated frequently and available in the portal, both before and after system login. So under Help, we click on Contact. So a help desk has been established at NORC for users to contact with non-compliance issues. The help desk is available from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, Monday through Friday, either by email or phone. The help desk will be able to assist users if they're having trouble logging in or utilizing the system. They'll be able to escalate any issues they're not able to immediately resolve to the appropriate resources at MHDO, HSRI, or NORC. The goal is to provide a single point of contact for all portal-related questions or concerns. While the help desk will be able to assist you with any portal-related questions you may have, all questions about compliance with MHDO's requirements should still be directed towards MHDO. This is not changing. For example, if you have questions about meeting a submission deadline, please contact MHDO at the number and email you see on the screen. The help desk will not be able to answer any of the compliance-related questions. Users will also be able to access a comprehensive user manual and training videos. User manuals provide step-by-step instructions with screenshots for all aspects of the MHDO data warehouse. And we also have a page for training videos, such as the one for the registration training. When this webinar is done, we'll be posting it under the training videos section of the portal for easy access. Our goal is to post training videos online within 48 hours of the live event. So if you have to miss any future trainings, you'll still be able to take advantage of the material we present. And the final tool available to all users is a list of frequently asked questions. This document will be maintained on an ongoing basis. We anticipate that most of your questions will have answers in either the user manual or the FAQs. But the help desk will be available to you as a last resort, so one way or another, you'll be able to get the information you need. Now, periodically, there'll be notifications sent to system users to indicate their submitted files have been validated, an exemption request approved or rejected, or new users needed or approved, or other system announcements, such as you see on the screen in front of you. All system notification emails will come from portal@mhdo.maine.gov. These notifications will also be displayed upon login to the portal here on the home screen for easy access to information. Now, in order to make use of the portal, there are certain minimum requirements you'll need to meet. We've tried to make sure it runs on any of the major browsers released in the last few years. We're limited in how far back we can go in achieving compatibility, though, due to security requirements. It is possible that some portal functions will work with older browsers. We don't kick you out if you use something else. However, we always recommend that users make use of fully patched and updated browsers when possible. So, we support Internet Explorer 8 and above, Firefox 3.5 and above, Safari 5 and above, and Chrome 4 and above. If you choose to use a browser other than the ones listed here, the site's pages may not display properly, and you may encounter problems while using it. We also have the following standards for browser settings. Our site is optimized for a screen resolution of 800 by 600 or greater. It requires JavaScript and cookies, and since the site is accessed via HTTPS for security reasons, you'll need to accept SSL certificates. If you use Internet Explorer, you'll need to turn off compatibility mode in order to see the site as it was intended. So, this concludes the demo of the data submission validation portion of the MHDO Data Warehouse portal.